Right, hi guys. So, welcome to part two of how I set up my gardening business. Now, if you've just watched part one, I'll not dwell on kind of the early beginnings because I have talked about that. Basically, using social media to get my first lot of customers, and then it just kind of slowly built up. Eventually, becoming kind of word of mouth, and we kind of did it from there. So if you've clicked on this video and haven't watched part one, feel free to obviously watch this video, but do go back to part one and you'll get a lot of your questions answered in part one. So this part two here is I'm basically just going to be talking about how I kind of grew it from those early days into what it is now. There's still room for improvement, absolutely no doubt, but this is basically like this YouTube channel is basically documenting and trying to give people confidence and they can do the same thing. I was just a normal person, just kind of with an interest in growing veg and an interest in the outdoors, like working outdoors, not shy of hard work. And if you put the effort in and do things properly, you can run your own business and grow it into whatever you want it to be. So yeah, so I basically started out doing kind of garden tidies, grass cuts, hedge trims, because that's what I was comfortable doing. It's pretty much what I do now. I do and border work as well, weeding and stuff like that, but I try not to do too many weeding jobs, partly because I keep getting bad backs and stuff, and they're not nice. Weeding jobs, they're not pleasant really, so I prefer cutting grass and cutting hedges, to be honest. That's what I try and do, and it's my business, and I can basically run it however I want, and you can too. So generally speaking, it's just me working. Occasionally I've had a little bit of help, but like only on literally a handful of jobs. So I don't want to burn myself out, and I just want to try and get a balance between work, YouTube, because this takes a hell of a lot of time, and family life as well, and obviously social life, which isn't huge in my case, but the YouTube a lot of the time is kind of my switch off time. I play pool as well. I have a couple of bits going on, but I'm not a big. I don't drink because I've got Crohn's. I don't go out drinking and all that kind of thing. I guess that's what a lot of people do to socialise. Obviously, I see my mates and stuff, and we do things, and everything's great like that. But it's trying to find a balance, and I just don't want to burn myself out. So I stuck to kind of what I was comfortable with, and kind of got good at that. So I don't do landscaping, so I've never turfed a garden at the time of this video. I've got my own to do because we've just moved in at the time of filming about 2 months ago, and it's all gravel outside, and the idea is to turf it and do loads of things with it. But at the time of doing this video, I've never laid turf. I don't do fencing. I don't do like patios and stuff, hard landscaping. I've done the odd thing where I've put gravel down for people and stuff, but I kind of draw the line there. Partly because I haven't really got the means to do it, so I haven't really got the labour. My van is a Peugeot partner, which we'll get onto shortly, so I don't have a big huge van. When you do additional kind of jobs and stuff, you need more gear, which is all expense, blah blah blah. So I do what I'm comfortable doing. If you're wanting to grow and stuff, I guess you can. One way of growing is diversifying, so you can do more jobs. Obviously, if you've got help, you can kind of turn it into a bit of a like a limited company kind of thing if you wanted to do that. I'm a sole trader. The options are basically endless, really. So how did I go from kind of humble beginnings, if you like, to kind of where I am now, where I'm happy with the amount of money I'm earning, and I consider myself fully booked. Why do I say I consider myself fully booked? Is because I always think there's room for one or two extra gardens, the nice little lawn cuts, you're in and out in kind of 20 minutes or whatever. They're the types of jobs I like. I don't like big jobs where you're in one place all day. I hate this phrase as well, the mow, blow and go. You've probably heard it on YouTube. But essentially, they're the jobs I do like, and you kind of supplement it with hedge trims as well, which are a good earner. And yeah, so that's basically what I do. So the first thing to make that jump to, so at the beginning I always felt like I wasn't a professional gardener, and looking at us, I wasn't. So I didn't have the uniform, as I've already said in part one. I didn't have a van. So they were the two things that were really important, and I wanted to address them like as soon as possible. It's just checking it was recording there. So yes, I wanted to address those two things as soon as possible. And eventually I saved up enough money and got myself a van, Peugeot partner. And lots of people have asked us about the size and is it big enough. I'd say for 90% of what I do, it's big enough. There are times when like maybe I'm taking waste and stuff I could do with something a bit bigger. I didn't have space for a trailer, but now at this address I do, but I don't want one. It would just be in the way, and I don't do many big garden clearances. I don't run my business that way really. Most of the waste goes in customers' bins and stuff. As I say, it's mainly like kind of lawns and hedges, so you're not getting like masses of waste. Through the winter I do tend to get bigger jobs, take on bigger jobs like your big clearances and stuff, so that's when I could maybe do with either a bigger van or a trailer, but I don't want to, basically. I'll make do over the winter with kind of what I've got. So yeah, so the vans aren't cheap, so just shop around, obviously, try and get the best deal you can. You want something reliable, so there's not worse having to kind of keep spending on your van. But more importantly, really, you're out of action. So if you haven't got a car, which I now don't have a spare car, if my van's off the road, I cannot work. So it's really important, to look after it. So the van was a big thing. The uniform was also a big thing. So I should have done that at the start. Uniform cost us 85 quid. I don't know why I didn't. Stupid, really. So when I got me van and I got signage on my van, I got magnetic signs for about 75 quid. I had the uniform. I'd improved my gear, so I'd gone from the £60 push mower to a Cobra self-propelled mower. That's kind of a budgety mid-range kind of mower, which I will improve again. I think as long as you can keep improving, I think that's all you can ask for. So could I spend 1,000 quid on a mower? Yes. I don't want to just yet. I feel like that's maybe another couple of years down the line. So, not that you have to do it either. Like Honda Izzy's very popular for gardeners, and they don't cost the earth. I mean, I don't know a great deal about tools and gear and lawnmowers and stuff. I do have to ask you lot for help on that one. But yeah, it's your business essentially, and you can basically do what you want to do with it. I'm quite happy with the mower I've got in my gear at the moment. What I did spend big on was the steel combi unit with all the different attachments, and that was a game changer. Lightweight, quick, reliable. That was fantastic, and I've got videos on here like to kind of showcase that. So that was a game changer. So when I had my van, my uniform, like better gear, that's when I felt like, yeah, like I'm doing this properly. And if anyone's walking past in the street and looking at me doing my job with my van and all the rest of it, I felt confident, and they'd probably think, oh, there's a proper gardener running a proper business, and that's key. Not just doing it for proper money. or drinking money. Do you know what I mean? Like running a proper business. And that was probably, let's think, maybe 2 and a bit years in. I think roughly off the top of my head. So yeah, so 2.5 years in, that's when I thought, yeah, I've got a proper little round here. Obviously, I wasn't full then, but I was pushing, and you know, that's when I started to become a little bit more picky with my jobs. Prior to that, I would pretty much take on virtually anything. There were certain jobs I would go to and look at and think, there's no way I'm not touching this, or the access was a problem or whatever. Now it's only, if I take on a regular job, it's only like the like nice, like the cream of the jobs. A nice grass cut, you know, no access issues, good customers, good pairs. And there's a couple of gardens I'd let go, not many, few let me go for various reasons. I've got a video on this as well, mostly because people move out, move away from the area. A couple of people just kind of wanted to save money, absolutely fair enough. Yeah, so that's basically how it went. And if we talk a little bit about pricing gardens, because I could have talked about this in the first video, so pricing gardens is like, it's probably one of the hardest things. And at the time, the videos on YouTube weren't really helpful. There weren't people really talking about what they actually charged. There were people maybe saying, how do you price? But they weren't saying like, this is what our price. So that was a little kind of niche for me with YouTube as well, just to kind of maybe get a bit of an edge and get people watching the channel. So I thought that worked well for me, and I'm not too fussed about talking about money. I'm fairly transparent on this. I mean, I'm not going to tell you me yearly earnings or whatever. I don't think that's right, but I don't mind, you know, the odd job telling you what I charge, and then you can get a bit of a picture for yourself. But the biggest thing is making mistakes. So for me, straight away, I knew I didn't want to charge by the hour. I wanted to charge per job. So one, because I didn't want to essentially cap my earnings, because there's only so many hours in a day, there's only so much work you can do. So if you charging an hourly rate, and some people do, and that's fine, it's not a right or wrong thing, it's just how I wanted to do it. So, and people like knowing how much they're going to earn, which, you know, that's absolutely fine. But I just kind of like the excitement of maybe like 1 month you're up, the next month you might be slightly down, and trying like how much can you make. But if you're always on that same hourly rate, it's flat. And personally speaking, I don't particularly like it. So yeah, you make mistakes. God, like I've done loads of jobs where I've absolutely undercharged massively, and it's the only way you learn, really. So when a similar job comes along again, you'll know exactly what to charge. So my grass cut start from £20. That's basic kind of trim and mow, and then you just kind of add on if there's border work, add that into the price. Hedges, bushes, whatever, tend to start from sort of £30 to £40 for small ones. Again, you judge and make mistakes and go again and learn from it. But it's so difficult. So that's probably the biggest thing I get asked, like, what would you charge for this? Like, how do you work it out, basically? And so like, how do you work it out? So the bottom line is, if I'm not sure about a job, is I'll ask myself, what would be an amount that you're happy with for doing this job, no matter how long it takes you. So if it takes you all day, if it takes you half a day, at the end of the day, what would you be happy with? So that's what I ask myself if I do kind of, sort of, if I'm not sure. And you've got to look for kind of red flags as well, like to maybe give the job a miss. So you just get a vibe, really. Like, talk to people as well. That's the biggest thing I'd say, is just talk to customers, potential customers. Have a chat with them, chat about the garden. You know, are you responsible basically for the whole garden all the time, or will they kind of chip in and do bits and pieces? Because you might not like that. When I take on a garden, I like to be the person in charge of it, so I know where I'm leaving it, and when I go back, I know what there is to do. That being said, it's not your garden; it's the customer's garden. So if they want, if they do something in it, that's you've got a decision to make. Do you keep them or do you let them go? Most of my customers are all right. A couple of people tinker with a few bits, cut a few things back. That I'm fine with that. But I do kind of begrudge if they wanted to cut the lawn, for example. I think that's happened once or twice, and I've let it go, and they haven't done it again, and yeah, so that's been fine. But look for red flags. Access issues. That's a big one. How far away is it from your area, your round? Is that going to be an issue? Loads of little things. And I've done videos on this, so I don't, I don't really want to talk too much on pricing there, but it's a big one, especially when you're starting out. It's a bit of a worry, and you'll go in less, like I certainly did, and it's up to you when you want to kind of increase the costs as well. I'll end it there. Thanks for watching. Massive thank you to everyone who watches the channel. And part 1 will be linked below. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Alright, cheers. Bye.